All right, so before we get into the actual artist designs, we're going to do a practice artist design so that you can kind of get an idea of how Adobe Fresco works and so that you understand what my expectations are for how to do these artist designs. And then all of them kind of moving forward will be done pretty much the same way. So for the practice one, we are going to be using this painting by Keith Haring. So you're going to need to save the photo. If I just click and hold here and I go to save to photos, that's going to save that to your iPad. And then you're going to need to open up Adobe Fresco, which you should have installed on your iPad now. The first time that you open it, it's going to probably ask a couple times for you to log in. Just use your school email credentials and that'll get you to this page eventually. This is kind of like the home screen where every time that you start a new design, you're always going to use current screen size for that design. So now a few things with this program. Anytime that you want to zoom in or zoom out, just kind of use two fingers and you can kind of pinch or pull away, and that will help to resize everything. As you're drawing, I would definitely recommend using a stylus, whether it's like an Apple Pencil or just a cheap stylus you can get at like Dollar Tree that looks kind of like a pencil but has a rubber tip on the end. That works just fine too. You can draw with your finger, but you're not going to get the accuracy and precision that you would if you're using a stylus. When we're drawing on this, you're going to use this top icon here. That is your pixel brushes. And you're going to go to basic hard round. And so that's the brush that you're going to be using for this one. There are lots of different brush options, so you can eventually kind of play around and find one that works better with whatever artist style, or hard round, it works fine as well. The second menu here are the options for the brush tool. This one right here allows me to change the size of the brush. This top one allows me to change the color to whatever I need it to be. So now, with each one of these artist designs, you're pretty much just tracing the artwork, and so that's going to make it a lot easier, a lot less time consuming. So in order to get that artwork onto your design, this little icon here at the bottom, you'll tap on that, you'll go to Photos, you'll find your picture that you saved. Now, whenever you want to get to this menu, you're going to want to resize it to make it a little bit smaller. So always make sure that when you resize artwork, you are resizing it from the corner. You never want to grab it from the middle of the side here, because that's going to stretch and distort the artwork, and that's going to make it look bad. So always resize from a corner, that way it's resized proportionally. So whenever you have it placed where you want it, you're going to hit done. And now we can begin drawing. Over here on the right side are where you'll find your layers. So right now I have 3 layers, a background layer, a drawing layer, and a picture layer. The picture layer is going to need to be moved down a little bit, because whatever is at the top of this list is whatever is most in front. So if I try drawing on this layer, you're not going to be able to see it because that picture is in front. Anytime that you draw something, if you make a mistake, the easiest way to fix it is undo, which is this icon right there. So this layer needs to be moved up to the top. And now I can draw on that layer in order to trace this. But as I'm drawing it, you'll notice that it's really hard to tell the difference between what I've drawn and the actual picture. So to fix that, if I click on my layer with the picture, I go to this icon that has the 3 lines and the 3 circles. Layer opacity, if I adjust this to about halfway or so, it's going to dim the image, and now it's going to be a lot easier for me to tell the difference between my drawing and the picture. So now I'm just going to take a few minutes and trace over this. You want to try and get it as close to accurate as possible, but the main goal is just to be able to identify and recognize what it is. Okay. So now I'm ready to add some color to this. The easiest way to add color is if, I'm going to go ahead and hide that for a second. Oh, wait. That's good enough. I'm going to use the paint bucket to fill in my color. So the background here is kind of a lighter teal color. Whenever you're using the paint bucket, you want to make sure that all parts of whatever shape you're drawing are completely closed. So you'll notice right here there's a little bit of a gap between this section. If I try to fill this in, it's going to fill in more than what I want. So I'll need to undo. I'll go back to my brush tool, change this back to black, close that gap so that it's completely connected there. I'll go back and oops. So anytime that I want to hide a layer, this icon can kind of toggle back and forth. So now I'm hiding the picture and I'm only seeing my artwork. All right, and then the guy on the left is yellow. The one on the right is kind of a tan. Make sure you're on the right layer. All right, so I noticed there's a spot here that I missed for the background. So an easy way to be able to match that color is if I go to my eyedropper tool, anywhere that I tap with the eyedropper tool, it's going to automatically select that color. So now back to my paintbrush, or my paint bucket, I can just fill that in. And then finally, for the bottom here, it's kind of a purple. All right, now I have the artwork finished. So next thing I need to do is I need to make sure I color the background. You don't want to leave it white. Anytime that something is left white, it makes it look unfinished. And so just adding a color makes it look a lot better. And then I'm going to add his name and his date of birth and the year he died. So for the background, I'm going to create a new layer. This little box with the plus, when I click on that, that creates a new layer. I'm going to choose whatever color I want it to be. Let's go with an orange. Now, whenever I fill this in, I'm just going to fill in pixel. It'll be fine. It covers up everything because, like I said, the layer that's at the top, that is what's in front of everything else. So I need to hold this layer. I'm going to move it down below my drawing so that my drawing shows up. So next, I'm going to add a new layer. And on this layer, I'm going to draw out his name. I'm going to go back to my brush. Let's change this to black. I'm going to make this a lot smaller. Okay. And just try and draw it out in block letters. Oops. All right. Keep hearing, just to make it a little more interesting, I'm going to fill in my letters with a different color. Let's go with, go back to my paint bucket on this layer. Oops. And then last thing, and my design is finished. So now whenever you are finished and you're ready to submit, the way that you must submit this is up at the top here. There's this little box with the up arrow. You're going to hit that. You're going to go to quick export, and then you're going to save image. And now that will save it to your photos. And so now within my photos, there's my design. Upload it to Schoology, and you're done with that.